Training 101 on 105.5 The Roar. And now back to Get Warrior Tough with Andrew Wittman.
Mental Hour in Media Anywhere. I'm Leadership and Mental Toughness Coach Andrew Wittman, joined by the mighty Lee Harper, hardest working man in radio. Lee, would you mind putting out the call-in, text-in numbers again for us, brother?
Yes, it's 654-7627. 654-7627 is a call-in. 986-1566. 986-1566. Somebody was just calling in. Please call us back.
All right. Also, if you want to join the conversation on Twitter, use the hashtag GetWarriorTough, and go like the Andrew Wittman Facebook page and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's just try to grab a hook anywhere you can. Go to the website and hit the Start Now box and put in your name and email address. Subscribe to the newsletter, and you get all my latest stuff and strategies on leadership and mental toughness, ground zero leadership, mental toughness tips and tools. All right, so again, if you're one of my mantras, we've been talking about this, nobody pays for average, you're going to hear that theme. I hate mediocrity. I just don't, man, it just drives me nuts. But if you've been wanting to take your business or your sales team or your organization and you want to rocket past all the average businesses that are out there and rise above the white noise, give me a call at the office. That's 864-977-1772, or go to the website, www.getwarriortough.com. Hey, let's begin a dialogue, see how we can help. Let's just see how we can help. Now, in studio with us is the totally awesome Drew Wittman. What's up, Drew Dog?
What's up, Papa Bear?
All right, so I know I'm biased, and Drew's my firstborn, and he is named after me. But those facts do not mean that I'm wrong about how great this guy is. So he is one of the most mentally tough people I've ever met, and I've worked with SEALs and Rangers and Marines and SF guys, and it was a couple years ago on the wrestling mat that I saw you nearly get choked out, but you just refused to get pinned, and I was like, wow, that guy, I'll go in battle with that guy anywhere. And I saw you, and then you couldn't even breathe by the time the match was over, but your team won because you didn't give up a pin, and you were wrestling a ranked wrestler at the time, and it was just amazing for me to watch. So I'm glad you're here, buddy.
Me too, Papa.
All right, so listen, we've been discussing, achieving clarity and finding our target. What's our ultimate destination, our vision for our life, our career, our business, our relationships, and what's the target? What's the outcome that we really want? And I happen to know that you actually have taken thinking like crap to heart, and you have an actual bona fide written vision and plan for your life. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I
and
do.
Then you actually brought it. It's in a book. You have it written in a book, in a composition book, and you write these ideas down and what your vision and what your target is, and you're actually writing it.
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy. All right, so now before we get into that, remind me again, how old are you?
I am 17 years old.
17. I know you're 17, buddy. Yeah. And you're a senior at Riverside High over in Greer, right?
Yes, sir.
Greer, South Carolina, and you're on the wrestling team. And so would you mind, and I know I already asked you this beforehand, but would you mind sharing with some of what your vision is? What's your target? What's your ultimate target?
The ultimate target is that I will own and run my own defense contracting company, which is a company that builds and creates weapons. So it's very exciting.
Right, and drones, and so you,
Drones,
okay, right? I mean, any of those things, right? Missiles, drones, weapons, that whole thing.
Tech, vehicles.
Tech and vehicles. So, okay, so now you mentioned to me that a few weeks before school was out this past year that you had added a piece to your vision. Do you mind me asking you what that piece was that you added?
The piece was that I start a program, well, down the road eventually.
Yeah.
That will help students, especially young people, change their thinking about the world and how they see things, that way that they can become what they want to be and do what they want. And then this program will also help them, like if they want to be a scientist, they'll do their own experiments in a lab, that way they can be a part of their own field. If they want to be a doctor, they can do medical things.
Now, why did you think of that? Because are you getting that in school?
No, that's the thing. I want this, but I can't have it. Because
so what in school, they're not teaching you how to think like crap. Almost the opposite, right? You just got to put it in the square box. You're in a box, and they already know the answer to the problem they're giving you. Is that right? And then
that's right. They
evaluate you on whether you got the problem right or not. So you're not really exercising your brain to go solve a new problem. So is that what your chair? So that's what you want, a school where we teach thinking.
That's the basic idea, is to teach the thinking, let people do that on their own and discover things on their own and become a better person.
Okay, so and now that's just one piece of you're crystal clear. Now I snuck a peek in your book. You have stuff in there about what your wife is going to be like in your family life, right? Yeah, I mean, you have a certain
do.
thing. And
Yeah,
what
I
about
do.
what your house looks like, and
Yes.
what your vacations look like, and your fitness and nutrition level look like, and your business?
Yep.
Is
My
that right?
Big tower with my name on it and a big cool logo.
That's awesome. Okay, so now you've been working on this for how long? You've been working on this vision.
About 2.5 years.
So it's been a while, and you're constantly working on it. You told me just in the hallway, you go, yeah, well, it's a living document. It's alive. I change it whenever I need to.
It is. If I want to change something, then I just go back and erase it, rewrite it.
Wow. So now, how did writing stuff down? How did that help you? What was your thought process going through this vision writing? Could you kind of help us?
Well, writing it down, as soon as you start writing something, it's like when you're writing a paper for school. The details just start flowing out. It just becomes more clear the more you write down. And, of course, it builds on each other and just gets exponentially bigger.
So, and now, you know our 2-minute rule that something is impossible. We say, okay, it's impossible, but if it were possible,
Right.
how would I do it?
You do it? Yeah.
Do you use that 2-minute
Of
rule?
course. That's my whole belief is got to suspend it and believe everything is possible. Otherwise, none of it is.
Okay, so now when you're doing that, and what do you use to prime the pump of your magic? Because a lot of kids, they don't even know how to get started writing a thing. It's like writer's block or whatever. What did you use to prime the pump of your imagination to start filling in details? You could just say it. We know.
Yeah, comic books, movies, TV, video games.
Comic
cetera,
books.
et
You're like
cetera.
on comic books forever, right? I mean, your mom's like, enough with the comic books.
Wow, whatever.
Yeah, and movies. What movies?
Iron Man, Batman.
You're wearing your Batman shirt.
I'm wearing the
So I
Batman
noticed
shirt.
that your vision is a lot like you want to be like a billionaire, kind of like Bruce Wayne or Tony Stark, kind of. So did you use that as kind of a model to start your man?
Awesome. Who wouldn't want to be like that?
And I find this interesting because a lot of people they're like, oh, that's just sci-fi and crazy. Like on my Star Trek from the '60s with Spock and Kirk, live long and prosper.
Right.
Like Aurora had that little communication thing. Now we have the Bluetooth deal. They had with the communicator with the flip phone. We're already past that. We're into like Star Trek: The Next Generation where they had the tablets everywhere. Now we have the smartphones. So, and a lot of those guys they'll even credit that though when they were growing up they were watching Star Trek and said I'm going to make that. So do you use that in priming the pump of your imagination and how do you get inspired and how you aspire to things? Does that help you?
Of course, the sci-fi stuff is just like a motivator, and I see that on TV, and I think, oh, that's cool, man. I'll build that one day. I want to make that. I want that. It's awesome, man. I that's how things are built now. Is people back then saw that on TV, and now they think, oh, I'll build that now.
So now you're crystal clear in your target, what your destination is. You've filled it in with emotional detail, like the tower. And you and I were talking on the truck on the way down here. You were like, well, do we call it Wittman Manor or Wittman Estate?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you were kidding me because you said that once you put me in the manor that because I told you this one time that when you pay the bills, you can make the rules. And you said since you would be paying my mortgage that I would have to do what you said. Is that what?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I'm going to take that deal or not. But so after wrestling season had finished this spring, interesting thing, you got a job for the first time. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So
That's
you're in the
correct.
workforce and you work at a very nice restaurant. It's on the higher end of the price scale. So it's very nice. But you had some interesting observations the first week or two that you were there. Would you mind sharing a little bit about your thoughts of what you saw there?
Well, it was like the coworkers and the people around me were just kind of like on the lazy river, just riding through life, had no idea what they wanted or what they wanted to do, just kind of stuck in stasis, just doing whatever, really.
So you were kind of like shocked that people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s had no target, no vision, or no plan?
Yeah, I was super surprised. I couldn't believe that people would just lolling along, just doing whatever. It was very surprising.
Why did that surprise you, though? I mean, because you saw that in high school, right?
Yeah, but I mean, in high school, they're younger and, maybe they don't have it figured out yet. Maybe they don't want to do. And
so you just figured most kids are like that, but you saw that in the 20s and 30s and 40s. It shocked you when you got to the workplace that there was people that didn't have a written vision.
I just thought that was strange because they were already older and they still were just kind of not really doing much at all.
So would you be surprised if I told you that you were like now in the top 1%?
I would be very surprised.
Well, you are, because here's the thing that, and I didn't have anything written out well into my 30s. It took me a long time to come through that process, and I wish I had. My whole goal for you and Jack and Michaela, the kiddies, was to give you a platform to launch for success, all the stuff that I had to learn, the hard way of having a vision and having what is my target, and instead of just floating through life like that feather on Forrest Gump. Only a handful of my clients, and I'm not kidding, a handful, and I've worked with quite a few people over the years, actually write out a vision. I mean, I've got some clients, man, that I've been working with for over 2 years right now. They still won't write it down. They have no clear target. They really don't know. They can't say what it is they want. They'll tell me what they don't want. And it's kind of like if you and I were a sniper team and we were out in, in Afghanistan, and I was the observer and you were the sniper, and I was looking down the scope and I said, hey, Drew, what's the target? And you said, yeah, see that rock over there? And I said, uh-huh. You said, yeah, that's not it. And what I said, oh, all right, so, and then you said, see that tree over there? Uh-huh, yeah, that's not it. Now, that's crazy. We would never think of a sniper to not know what their target is. Yet people in life, we don't know what the target is, and we're into sand traps and things that aren't relevant. And people, when you write it down, it becomes crystal clear. Like you said, you started writing stuff. What happened?
It became more clear as soon as I started writing. More details.
And then you could say, when you go back and you look at it later, do you say, well, I don't like that detail, and then you erase it and change it? Or
Yeah, for some things, and then I'll think maybe I want something different there, and I'll put something else instead of just leaving it empty,
Yeah, and I'll tell you, and as a coach and a consultant, it's really difficult to give businesses or, executives or athletes that I work with course corrections when they have no idea what their target is. So how could I give you a course correction if you don't know what your target is, if you don't know where you're going? We don't know what the target is. So listen, we have a call in right now, so let's just bring it up, Lee.
Hey, Jeff, cut your radio down. We're on a delay. Yeah, we have Jeff Manderson on the line.
All right, Jeff, go ahead, man.
Hey, Andrew, I've been listening to you, and I'm really enjoying listening to it. And a lot of what you say is so true. Because I own my own business. I've been rocking along for 14 years doing it, and without really a clear vision of what I wanted, working my tail off. And then I had a major setback in my life. I lost my wife about 7 months ago.
Oh, man, I'm so
She was
sorry
like my partner and did all the paperwork and ran the business, so I had to take all that over. I had no idea, So I got into that and still didn't have my goals set, but I lost that, and then at the same time I gained a relationship with my daughter, which I had not had for 5 or 6 years. Just listening to what you're saying, I'm looking at myself realizing that even though I have made some adjustments, I have not really sat down and laid those goals out. And where do I want to be in 5 or 6 years? And so I'm just saying that everything that you're saying rings so true in business and in life that I'm on board with that 100%. But I also want to tell you that we have a very mutual acquaintance, and I think that you have influenced her very much, along with other factors, and I can really see the difference, and it's even had an effect on me, so I applaud you for that.
Well, thanks, Jeff. Man, I appreciate you calling in, and man, my thoughts are with you, and if I can help you, call me offline, and we'll talk about it, and I'll help you dial in your vision, man, for your business, and that's what we do. We walk down that path, and there's a psychological path to walk down, and it's a simple process. But a lot of folks, they don't know what the process is, so we just kind of don't do it. And my wife and I were talking about that earlier this week. It's like people just don't know where to start with it, and that's what we do at Get Warrior Tough, is we help you where to start and walk down the path, because on the inside what you want. You just don't know that that's what you want yet. And you're a genius, man, and it's in there, and we'll get it pulled out of you. But
I tell you the truth, it's just like I got my teenage granddaughter coming up for the 4th weekend. I'm thinking, man, I want to have a great weekend. And, well, guess what? I'm not going to have a great weekend if I don't plan what we're going to do and have it laid out.
Right.
And then roll with the flow of it. Have to adjust it as you go. But even a little thing like that kind of makes a big difference, really.
That's absolute truth. And you know what? You're stealing my thunder. Did you read my notes, man? I'm going to talk about that in the last segment about, kind of what you just said about the weekend, man. So, Jeff, thanks so much, brother, for calling.
All right, well, look, you have a great day, and I'm enjoying the show. My daughter actually texted me and told me you were going to be on today. Of course, I listen to this station like 24/7.
Yeah, me too. I love CCP, the Roar, man.
Look, you have a great day, and I'm enjoying the show. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Jeff. All right, buddy. Bye. That is awesome. That's awesome. And so, man, that makes me, I feel like the chef, right, that cooked a Thanksgiving dinner and then they liked it. So thanks, Jeff.
Well, the main message out of what he said was this doesn't just go over to business. It goes in all aspects of life.
Absolutely.
And, obviously he is way above the curve. And I can tell you, because what you're talking about, what you see with people, we talked about it, stuck in the rut.
Yep.
That they get stuck in this way of thinking, and they think, I can't do any better.
Right. And if you can't, but if you could, how would you do it?
That's right.
That's awesome. All right, so let's take a quick break. We'll come back with Drew Dog and we'll wrap up. And this is good stuff, man. I'm enjoying it.
Mental Training 101 on 105.5 The Roar. And now back to Get Warrior Tough.
A company that has happy employees will be more effective. A company that has employees that know how to deal with obstacles and problems will make more money. A company that gives their employees the tools to make those things happen is the company that turns to Andrew Wittman. Andrew has been teaching leadership, performance discipline, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and mental toughness for almost 30 years. He's a veteran with combat experience in the Marines and experience as a police officer, federal agent, and security contractor for the State Department. His keynote speeches, half-day and full-day seminars are engaging, effective, and energizing. Your employees will leave feeling empowered. They'll learn how to foster better communication, build strong working relationships, develop crisis and conflict management skills, and more. Visit GetWarriorTough.com to read testimonials from people just like you. GetWarriorTough.com.
Mental Training.